Most financial firms, they're not broken. They're just built for a different version of success that stops being true once you reach a certain level. Here's what I mean. When I moved higher in my career, something counterintuitive happened. My income went up, my title went up, but it felt like my risk went up even faster. I used to tell my wife, half joking, but kind of not really. It's like, geez, the higher I go in these roles and responsibilities, the more heat I feel and the higher the probability that I could be taken out when structure shifts or whatever. And, here's the part that nobody talks about, probably because it's uncomfortable. But most financial plans, they don't fail because of markets. They fail because the structure wasn't really designed for real life. They assume steady income. They assume linear career paths. They assume that benefits are going to stay intact. And they assume that nobody wakes up in the morning and says, oh yeah, this is changing. And if your plan only works when everything is going according to plan, well, that's just not really a plan, that's optimism. At a certain level, the question stops being, how do I grow? And it becomes more like, how am I accidentally exposed here? What assumption does my financial life depend on staying true in order to keep the pace? And what happens if one of those assumptions breaks at the same time as some other big things, like the market changes or life change, unexpected death, etc. When you design properly, you stop trying to predict outcomes. You design for non-surprise, not fear, not pessimism, just the ability to think clearly when something unexpected happens. Most firms, they're built to accumulate, and that's great in the good years. Very few are built to help you stay aligned when success introduces complexity, at a much greater level. That gap is where people get blindsided, and it's usually at the worst possible time, unfortunately.